Welcome to Cringe and Crumble, the podcast where we dive into real-life experiences and raw, unfiltered conversations about life, dating, and relationships.
Join us as we share our own stories with those of our guests that will inspire you to connect with others in a new light. Whether it's overcoming heartbreak,
navigating the dating world,
or finding new ways to live in your truth,
we've got you covered. So buckle up and let's get ready to
cringe and crumble.
Woo! Hey, Tranisha.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, how's it going? How are you today?
I'm fabulous. How about you?
Doing great. Doing fabulous.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I had some family. I had my niece over and her friends. It's their first time in LA. And so, they're 25 and thriving, and I'm just trying to hang with them. But it was a good time, just did, a lot of touristy stuff and danced a lot. They like to dance and drink and do all the good fun stuff. I can't hang like that, but
Yeah, you can.
I tried my best. I was a little exhausted because of your birthday.
Yes,
the weekend before.
I'm like, we've hung out. I know that you can hang. Not. I mean, granted, went to Palm Springs and I dehydrated you all, but that's a different story. So no.
So I'm recovering. I'm still recovering.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, my weekend's pretty good too. I wasn't out like you dancing around the city. I was too busy trying to find the love of my life. So I went to a pear event. I don't
Pear.
Pear. It's spelled Pear.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend actually gifted me the pear ring. So with the pear ring, you wear this so you can let other individuals know that you are single and ready to mingle. And so they had an event Saturday night, and we decided that we're going to go and kind of do this experiment because their motto is it's one of the biggest social experiences out here in the world. So basically we show up, and if you see someone with a pear ring, you kind of introduce yourself and see where it goes from there. But when we showed up, we were late, but I guess we were not later. There was no one there. So it was kind of like,
that sucks.
I know, it was kind of like a bus, but I still like the concept because at the end of the day, it's not like a true event just for them because it's still at a regular restaurant and a bar, right? So they don't have like, this is just for this event. So you really kind of have to still navigate through just regular people who do not have the ring on and kind of gauge and see if that's somebody you should be talking to or not. So, but I definitely want to do it again.
Sounds like fun. I mean, it sounds like an interesting concept, right? Like, so you wear the ring, is in lieu of an engagement ring.
Well, yeah, but it's not on that finger. But it's just, because honestly, it's like a lime green color, and it's kind of rubbery, and you don't want to be wearing that all the time.
Yeah.
But you should wear it all the
Where's
time.
yours now?
Girl, I'm not wearing that. I'm just telling you what you're supposed to do. But you do supposed to wear it every day. I mean, I am cheating, but I do know now if I see this ring that person is available. I kind of think about it like like when we used to play Sims and you would have the diamond over your head and it would tell you everyone's whole life and their status. And this is just kind of helping you with that. But yeah.
Okay, well that sounds good. I might check it out.
You should. I definitely think you should. It's only like $25, and we'll go to the next event.
Cool.
Promise. It'll be fun. And we're actually going to stay so we can actually
see what ends up happening at the end. See how that pans out.
Yes, as opposed to me going in like no, this is okay. There's not enough people. We should go eat. So, but I still think it's a great thing. So, but anyway, as we just digress, let's get into the episode. So today's episode, it is entitled "The Art of Sexting." So exploring boundaries and expectations. So I'm going to start off by asking you, what do you think sexting is, or define it?
So I guess sexting is just a way to communicate. It's a version of communication that insinuates a sexual encounter.
I like how you did that with sexual encounter. So that is very true. I think it's basically the forwarding of sexually explicit messages,
right?
Photographs and or videos, right? I think a lot of people do it. I think you do it. I don't do it. I'm just lying.
No, I'm
just kidding. I do it,
girl. Hold on. I'm actually a pretty terrible sister. That's what I guess I have to work on that because I'm not really. It's hard for me to engage in those kind of conversations. I kind of feel awkward. Not to say that it's normal to feel awkward. I think it's just me personally. Like I get a little shy, or sometimes I feel like when I the sexting conversation starts initiating with me, um, automatically I think it's not for the intentions that I want it to be. It's like for, I guess, like not bad intentions, but just sexual intentions, and that's it. And I'm looking for something a little bit more long term with stability.
Yeah, but I think, which we're gonna touch on later in the episode, it's like it really depends on where your relationship is, right?
Mhm.
Because you're not gonna be sexting out of the gate, right? You just meet someone online. That's not something you're gonna do. But if you're in like a full on relationship with someone,
Yeah.
that's what you'll probably do. I'm sure like a lot of people do it. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But let's kind of talk about the different levels of sexting.
Yeah. I mean, it starts off, right? See, I'm not a sexer, but I'm a sexy texter.
What's a sexy texter? It sounds like not right.
I mean, a sexy texter is more like just like a little bit like just flirting, but not to the point where it's explicit. And like maybe I'll send a cute picture. Like if I'm feeling cute today and I have like my hair done or maybe makeup done, or I have a cute like top, or I don't know, whatever. I'll send a little selfie, you know?
So you're I think your sexy texty is actually good because that kind of starts off level one of sexting, right? Because it's a
Right.
sexual conversation.
Yeah. I mean
So
it's more like, hey, like look at me, like I'm cute, like love me.
you
We all do it.
sound
We all have those
no,
moments.
well,
I
that's
mean,
true. Because let's be honest. You're right. You start off with the sexual conversation that kind of moves into you're gonna send a cute photo, right? Which
mhm.
probably 9 times out of 10 is gonna be a bikini photo, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not.
Bikini or just a dress, like you're in a cute, like
Yeah,
low cut. I don't know.
you're going out with the
Yeah.
girls on a good Friday
Mhm.
night. You're looking real
It's
good,
a little bit
and
more modest, right? You're not like
yeah.
you're still leaving things to the imagination.
Yes, but it's also kind of bordering that line of, "Okay, I see where we're going here," because that
Mhm.
person's gonna probably 9 times out of 10 start sending you back photos.
Or give you a like a sweet compliment, or
Mhm.
make a feel good moment, right? And it gives them an opportunity to send a photo back, or compliment you. So it's a win.
It's a win-win for everyone, but then it's like, when does it actually go over that line? And then it's
Right.
where you're starting to show more than what you really have, right? I mean, what
Mhm.
not what you really have, but show more than what you usually would've.
Right.
So you go from bikini, and then one of those items are gonna come off, either top or the bottom. And usually it's
We have 2
you
choices.
have 2 choices. Men only have 1 choice,
Yeah.
and so then it could
Not
it
always, actually. Some of them, they you know how, like
what is it?
have you ever seen, like, guys on, well, I've seen them online when they have that picture up and they have, like, like, only, like, a towel on, but it's, like, showing
Pelvis
their pelvis
area?
area.
Is that what
Yeah.
that's called? But
Yeah.
he's still got 1 option. If he takes it off, that's I mean, he's teasing, right? So then he takes
Mhm.
it off, that's all you're gonna
But they're
see.
also trying to show their abs, like, you know what I mean? Like, straight out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
shower, like, steamy, like
But not everyone's got that
No, which
V
is what I'm saying.
thing.
Yeah, like a lot of guys don't have that. Not, I mean, there's quite a few who are confident enough to put a picture out there with
Their
their quote
situation.
unquote top off.
That's when it moves into full on sexting, right? Because then
Yeah.
now it's like he's completely nude. 'Cause he can do baby steps. He legit was like, well, this is what we're doing.
Right.
This is a woman
Right.
you can kind of tease in that area. You're not really have to take your
Right.
top off. You don't really want to.
But like, yeah, but like even like before that, okay, let's just before we even get to the picture part, like sexting it is just starts off with the conversation, right? Like that's level one,
Yeah,
truly.
conversation. We spoke
Yeah,
about
like
that.
when you start talking about like I said, making things a little bit more explicit and rated R, and like
Yeah.
what are we trying to imagine here?
Yeah. Yeah, it always
So,
starts off there, but then it's like,
mhm.
when do you like I said before, you decide you wanna navigate into sending those extra explicit messages and
Mhm.
photos. I
Mhm.
think it really was gonna really depend on how trustworthy you are of that person, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you trust that person that you would actually send something where 9 times out of 10, it could be used against you, or is that person
Mhm.
gonna keep it? I think that's why I wouldn't want to really want to do it because you don't know what they're gonna do with those
Yeah.
images.
Yeah. So it's like important to really vet those questions out before you get to level 3
Ye
or 4,
Yeah.
which is like the topless, the fully
Yes.
nudes,
Yes. You
the
conversate.
yeah.
Just don't, like, throw it out there because you don't really know what's gonna happen with it. I mean
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we've narrowed down the levels here of like just A, conversation, B, the modest little like,
mm.
hey, I look cute today, and then C, topless or bottomless.
We're in levels.
With no face.
We're in levels. You can't go from ABCs. We're
And
in levels.
then like
We're zone 7 levels.
so yeah, zone
But
7.
I think we're only at zone 4 or 5 levels.
Yeah, and then the full on sexting with the nudes and all that stuff, and yeah, that's I don't know. How comfortable are you? Like, are you a
Not
sexter?
no, I'm very goofy at it. I don't do it well, and I don't receive it well. So don't
Mhm.
just send me something without telling me, because if you send it to me,
Give me a warning.
I'm gonna be like, "What is wrong with this person? I think this is for the wrong person." I mean, I think we all try at it.
Mhm.
But I don't really do it in dating.
So have you ever, like, with, like, a long-term
Of course,
okay.
I have, because I think that's just a part of your relationship, right? You just want to
Mhm.
keep things a little spicy. I'm very comfortable with that person, but I'm also wary of the fact of, like, okay, if we ever break up, okay, what are we gonna do with those images and any type of things that's been, exchanged between both of us? Are we gonna have a conversation where you're gonna delete those? Or are you gonna,
Mhm.
like, share them? Because we know what happened back in the day with that website, right? When you have revenge porn,
Mhm.
right?
Revenge porn, yeah. Yeah.
And
Did you
in
see
that's
that documentary on Netflix? Most
ye
Hated Man in America?
I
Wasn't that
did.
good?
That was good, and I do remember that site. That was wild.
It
That was
was. I mean, that was intense. I mean, he really like, you can really screw up someone's life just by having having pictures, like, on your phone, and the thing is with this guy, like, he was a hacker, so he was going into people's emails. People weren't even sending it to anybody, they were sending it to themselves, and it was just, like, sitting in their emails,
mhm.
and he was just hacking people's emails to find those pictures and just
That's
yeah.
that was terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty
But a
bad.
lot of people also just kind of submitted those photos because they were upset because they were not in that relationship.
Right, like, yeah, the revenge got thing,
And,
yeah.
but I what I do like about this documentary was that, the mother whose daughter images were out there, and you cannot get it out. You can get it off the web, and she really fought hard for that, and it was a very
Mhm.
difficult journey because it does mess up your reputation. So you
Yeah.
really gotta think about what you're gonna be doing if you wanna go down this sexting route, to really see, if it's okay. Like, if do you really trust him?
Yeah, so I guess, like, since I mean, you've done it, I've done it. When is it appropriate? What does that look like in terms of like when is it okay to start sexting and at like what level? Like is it like I think when we think about it, like sometimes like we don't want to seem prude, right?
Mhm.
And not to say that we should feel pressured that way, but sometimes it feels that way. Like, look, I really like you. I love where this is going. I have a lot of chemistry with you. I don't wanna be a prude, like, I wanna enjoy, like, these conversations with you, and I know that I can, but is it too early? Am I gonna just show up and you're gonna just change your mind about me? Like, how do we manage that?
That's really I think it's really up to the person, right?
Mhm.
But if we're gonna talk about timing, let's lay it out here. Definitely virtual dating, for instance, right?
Mhm.
The first message, if it comes through immediately and it's sexual in nature, 9 times out of 10, this person
Yeah.
doesn't want a relationship. He just
Mhm.
wants you to start sexting with them.
Yeah.
Um,
And just real quick on the online dating, I think also, what's difficult is managing that because I feel like my gut is telling me that most men feel that the online dating is for that, right? Like it's just
it
that's the purpose and some of them take it seriously and they want to find something a little bit more intentional and the other a lot of people are just like, "Oh, I can sext because that's what online dating is all about. It's just to get laid."
Yeah, they gotta redefine that because that's not what that was all
I
about.
yeah, I mean
That's not, I think it's that individual, but also you dodged a whole bullet if that was
right,
the
right.
first thing that's
Yes,
out
tell me
there.
now than rather than later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that's when you can kind of, like, run for, like, the hills. But do you do it, like, after a week or after a month,
Mhm, mhm.
or after you've slept together? Because I
Mhm.
feel at that point,
Mhm. Right.
kind of you know what everything looks like. So
Yeah. I think that okay, so in the beginning, no. Like
mm,
keep it
agreed.
inside. Keep your thoughts inside.
You said keep your thoughts inside.
Yeah.
I want the communication, but keep your thoughts inside for the first month.
Yeah,
You're setting,
filter them.
you're setting the boundary now. Just keep
Yes.
them in at a certain
Yeah,
time, and
don't turn
then
me off right away. You might be a good
yeah,
guy, but you gotta be careful and not turning me off right away.
yeah.
But, like, if I'm dating someone and this is, like, my timeline, right? Like, if I'm dating someone and even if we're, like, going on a couple dates and, like, we're a month in or so, I still want, like, a level of respect. I don't mind the sexy texting, right?
Hmm.
There's a fine line there. So, the sexy texting, yeah, I'm all about it.
Do you define to that person what sexy texting is?
No, I just kinda
I
thought
mean,
about
because
it.
because they probably get that blurred line, right? They're like,
Right, you're right, you're
because
totally
sometimes
right about
people
that.
you give them like one step, and then they jump, they like a hop 25 steps ahead, and you're like, no, I gave you like one thing to do. Now you're going too far ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a conversation we should have, right? Maybe it's
Mhm.
after a month. I don't know.
I don't know, I don't think that's even I wouldn't want that either. Cause I don't even if I'm dating you after a month, even after we had sex, if we had sex already, I probably still would refrain a little bit from sending any kind of pictures because of that. I'm still getting to know you, and to your point of you don't know what kind of person this is until, like, at least 4 seasons in, right? Like, let me spend
You said 4 seasons.
yeah, like, let me spend let me spend
It's a year and some.
spring, summer, fall, and winter with you
I'm
first.
giving you 2 quarters. You got 2 quarters. Pick those 2 quarters, and
No, I
then
need, like, all 4. I need to know how you deal with every kind of weather change. I don't know.
I mean, I really don't know. But then also, it's like
I
you
think
kind of slept with the person. But then also, I'm like, well, maybe what if you just FaceTime it?
but you could still do, like, what's it called? Snapshots or screenshots through FaceTime, so no.
Oh, that's true. You can.
No, thanks.
Nothing's safe.
I'm not trying to be prude, but this is where my
No,
mind
I
goes.
get it. But I get it. That's the beautiful thing about this podcast. We get to share our opinions, but then also,
Mhm.
and whatever people take it or leave it. But yeah, but I guess like you're right. It's up to the person
Yeah.
of when you want to do that because then you got to
Mhm.
start thinking about how sexting is going to impact that relationship, right? Does it
Exactly.
enhance
Yeah.
the relationship or does it
Yeah.
detract from that
Mhm.
relationship? So, I think if it's something that's immediate, let's just say, like, once again, if it's like after a week or so, if it's like a short term situation, 9 out of 10, it's not going to work. It's because they're going to think that this is all sexual in nature.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think I heard a quote the other day that guys so the quote was like guys are not thinking straight. So, I'm sorry. Let me let me retract. Before sex, guys are usually not thinking straight and women are.
Mm-hmm.
After sex, guys are thinking straight and women are not.
Mm.
So, I truly can relate to that. And I think that once you set the tone of the relationship and now the relationship's about the sexting and the sex and it's just like that like hormonal kind of jump off. I
Yeah,
think
it does. It changed the dynamic of the
it does. I
relationship.
yeah.
It either elevates it or it just basically it's gonna just be null and void.
Right.
Um, and I think you should have a healthy conversation afterwards.
I think so
Um, because
too.
you just never really know.
Not that we always do, but I think
No,
we
but
got to do
we
do
definitely
better.
should.
Mhm.
Because we don't assume that like, oh, I slept with this person, this is great, and this is where it's gonna go.
Mhm.
That's not how that really
Right.
works, you know?
Yeah.
So communication very much is key. But
Yeah.
let's go back to how you told me like FaceTime, we can't do that. But let's talk about sexting beyond the screen, like before the screen time, like anything that was electronic. Like what do we do with that? What did that look like?
What, like catcalling? Is that sexting? That's voicing. That's yelling.
That is yelling. But no, like, but I guess that would that be like a better approach? Because now there's no evidence of you doing that, right? Um,
But you know what? It's still like a form of like uh getting some sort of like showing your sexual attraction to somebody, right?
Mhm.
And wanting something back, right? It's even though like majority of the time, hopefully, most women don't really respond to that, but some of them do, and it's usually a transactional thing. So I don't know.
Hmm. But think about the fun side though, because people they may want that. They don't really mind it,
Yeah,
and
some
that's
people
what it
are a
is.
lot more comfortable
Yeah, it's a
there,
fun
and
thing.
that's
People
cool,
do
but I
sex.
can't get there.
Yeah, when people do that, and it's always interesting to think about. Like before there was like phones and stuff, like you would
Mhm.
just send a real Polaroid picture to someone, and then you won't even send it. I think you just take it and then you just get it developed at Walmart, and then let them see your
Right.
naked picture, and then because
Oh,
you
yeah, you used to bring the disposable cameras.
yes, because you could never see what you looked like. I wouldn't trust it.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, not that I would, but I think that's all that people had at the moment.
That's true. You
Mhm.
had that, and you probably had beepers. You beep people sexy messages because you can use the numbers. They can spell out
Yeah,
words.
you can.
Same thing with what else would you use? Oh, you wouldn't send letters that are sexy.
AOL and germs.
AOL.
That's sexting, right?
That is
I
because
am.
what's your age,
What's your
sex,
aim?
age, sex, and
Mine used to
location?
be La Loca 43. I got in so much trouble for that one.
I don't remember what mine was. I can't remember. I just know I was on those chats late at night, and then webcams, and then people wanted to do webcams, and it was weird. And I was
Oh, I
like,
remember that. We used to
yeah.
buy a whole fucking camera, like
Yeah, and then you had it installed on top of the thing. That's neither here nor there, but that was a different fun time, I guess, of sexting if you wanted to keep it spicy in your relationship.
Yeah. I do think that sexting could be fun and good if you're if you're in a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
if you're like in a trusting long-term relationship, because that's really like the all you have, right? Is
Mhm.
you got to be like spot on with your communication. So I think in those terms, in that scenario, I think it's a good thing. It's a healthy thing, but it's also scary just as much because you don't know, like, again, this person's across the country or the world, and you got to be real sure about this, that you're spending all this time.
I mean, it's also good if you're in long distance relationships,
Yeah,
right? Because you
yeah,
kind of need that to sustain that relationship because you're not going to see that person every day.
yeah.
Um, and I think it's healthy. It's a good form of healthy communication.
I mean,
Um,
it is. I guess it's just like again, like you have to agree on like, hey, like this is what we're doing. This is, I'm entrusting you with these pictures, and I would hope that even if we like were not to work out or break up, like I don't want you to share them. Like, they should go. You should delete them. Not
well,
not knowing that if that's gonna happen or not, but you
yeah.
should mention it.
Well, I have a
So,
question for you.
mm.
When you get, you know, sexy men genitalia photos, do you like share those with your friends? Because this is a trust
I
fall, a
know.
trust
Okay, you're
test. I need to know, what do you do when you do get those types of photos? Are you sharing them?
I haven't gotten those types of photos in a while. I've been refraining from even engaging with people like that. But yeah, I have. Yes, we did short show and tell. It's not right. I'm not saying it's right. I am admitting that it's done. So that I think that's the thing too, is that if I'm willing to put my pictures out, then I have to be okay with having a 50-50 chance that my pictures are going to be shown somewhere else with someone else, even if it's just a group of friends. Do I do that now? No, I don't even receive those kind of texts anymore because I don't, again, like I know how to filter
You're not
men.
engaging with those individuals.
Yeah, I know how to filter them now. But I have received them from other friends, where we talk about it.
I think
Yeah.
we don't. I don't ever share in those photos. I
Yeah.
don't ever. I would not. It's just an invasion of the trust, right, for that
Mhm.
person. But will we talk about it? I'll talk about it all day because they also talk about it, right?
Mhm.
With their friends. I'm sure 9 times out of 10, you sit at a dinner table. They probably have
Right.
seen a photo of you, and you're like, ah,
Yeah, and it's so to be fair, like, it's never sent, right? Like, I don't send I never sent anything, and it was more of like, "Oh my god." Like, "What? What?" So, yeah, okay. Yeah, no.
Well, this is my takeaway from this episode because I'm
Yeah.
happy we did talk about this because it's very uncomfortable for us to
It
kind of
is.
talk
It
about,
is,
right?
yeah.
But but it's fine because people do it. It should be normalized. I mean, you should talk about it anytime, right?
Mhm.
But I think that you should ask yourself some questions before you start sexting with someone and you want to send like photos of yourself. My first thing is like, are you intoxicated, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
intoxicated me makes bad decisions as opposed to sober you, right? And you really should probably put
Mhm.
some boundaries on your intoxicated version
Right.
of you because they could probably ruin your life. You should probably just sitting
Yeah,
out
like, you
some.
could be, like, with, like, a really great person, and then you can just ruin the whole thing if intoxicated you comes out in the wrong way, and
Yeah, so probably don't text when you're a little intoxicated and don't make those
I learned
decisions.
that the hard way. I've learned a lot in my life. I'm in a much better place.
I have my thing when I'm intoxicated, I like to buy things. So it's not like I'm sending photos. Like
Mhm.
I'll
I
wake
don't send
up.
photos, no, I don't do
No.
that.
I buy a lot of stuff and I wake up the next day and I'm
Mhm.
like, what did you do? Like I have a million pillows from like Urban Outfitters and I'm like, were you trying to build a pillow fort last night? Like what were we doing? But
A
I
pillow fort.
have no idea. Intoxicated Tanisha just loses her mind sometimes,
Oh,
depending on the
man.
level. But I definitely would not be sending photos. Also, you need to ask yourself the question is, are you being catfished by that person, right?
Yeah,
So
that's a
who
real
really are you
thing.
sending those photos to?
Right. So you have to really make sure who you're talking to, even if like sometimes like even like a FaceTime, like FaceTime is not the same as in real person because it's you don't even know technically how tall they are, right? You know what I mean? Like you just
No.
don't know the person. So
That's if you've never met them in real life,
right.
right? You've just been living in this virtual world where
Yeah.
you're like, we've been in a relationship for like a year, but you've never seen them,
Mhm.
in real life. You never touched that person, but you've only had that sexual conversation and maybe one FaceTime that lasted for 2 minutes, and then it just never happened again.
Yeah, and it's also like behind the screen, like so they're still on stage, right? You still haven't met the actor in real life, right? You're just still seeing the performance. It's still there.
Yeah.
So
Ask yourself a lot of questions because you're probably not talking to who you think you are. Because then sometimes
mhm.
people will, persuade their friend who they're probably using as their catfish to kind of talk to you for those 2-3 minutes, and then you
Mhm.
never have another video conversation with that person, but you still think you're in a relationship with them, and it's like, nope, you're not, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, ask yourself that before you start sending them, and then also, and if you trust the person,
Yeah.
that's the biggest
That's hard for
question.
for every scenario in like relationships but that's important to know like if you really trust the person, if like what does your gut tell you? What is like truly like listen to your gut. Like don't tell me that your gut tells you this is great because your heart is telling you that. No. Like know exactly what you're getting into, who the person is when they on their good days, on their bad days, like who how do they portray themselves with, other trust testing issues, see how they react on other topics and that
What's the other trust step
like
issues?
if are they okay with like skimming from the top, like if they can, or, like it's in terms of like
Mm,
money or
mm,
or like telling little white lies, like see evaluate all those things because they can do the same thing to you. So
yeah, yeah. So at the end of the day, do you? If you like sexting, sex all day. Um, but just know the repercussions of you sexting sometimes.
yeah.
Uh, but be out here, be
Yeah.
free, live your best life. Like,
Yeah, now, like, I applaud those who have the comfort to do this. I think that some of us have a little bit of a struggle to get there, and some of us are just a little bit better.
maybe if you call the 1-900 number, you can
The one nine
build
hundred.
the confidence that you need to
That's
do
the
it.
OG behind the
Yeah, there
screens.
you go. Yeah, I could never get paid to do
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Just thought about that.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Like you just unlocked a whole memory of like I don't know, after 10 p.m. TV.
It's like 10 PM, do you know where your
One
kids
nine,
are? And then at
yeah.
10:01, you can call me at 1-900, yada, 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 sexy girl, nude girl, whatever.
It was either a sexy girl or like a astrologer or something.
Yes, it was Miss Cleo or something, but then, you should just go to bed. But But yeah, I like this episode because it's just so uncomfortable and fun, and
Yeah.
it's a little cringy, but
It's yeah,
it's a good cringy.
it's a good cringe. Yeah.
It's not a bad topic.
Mhm.
It's nothing to feel ashamed about. You do it.
No.
You let your sexual flag
Yeah,
fly.
we just want everyone to, like, be cautious, stay true to themselves and just be, like, very protective of your own self
Yeah,
and
your
don't let
own
anybody
brands.
mess you up, you
Yeah,
know?
you don't want that
No.
out there in
I
those
learned a
streets.
lot from that documentary. Most hated man in the mirror or in the internet. That was rough.
That was rough. That was a
Mm,
rough
that was
series,
what,
but
early 2000s? Yeah.
well, if you get a chance, I mean, that was back in the day. It was a Wild Wild West. You can do
It
whatever.
was.
It's like Southwest
Mhm.
Airlines. You don't pick a seat. It's Wild Wild West out there. I'm like, what? I flew them for the first time, and I was like, wait a minute, where's my seat assignment? And they're like, no, you just pick a seat. And I was like, no, this is not how this is supposed to work. You're supposed to have assigned seats.
That's so
And I'll never
funny.
forget, this guy comes by and he's asked the same question. He was like, and the stewardess was like, well, no, you pick wherever. And he was like, oh, they're living the Wild Wild West out here too. And I was like, yeah, right. I don't trust it. But those are times that you can do whatever you wanted. So anyway.
Southwest. I felt the same way. That's why I relate. I said the same thing. I was like, "What? Where am I saying what?"
Right? And then everyone's saving their seat for their spouse who's in letter F. And you're like, but I'm in letter A and she's in F. Why do I have
It's like
to wait?
like a lottery number. Like, oh, you're into the 200s, but I'm in the 400s. Like,
Right?
what? But we bought it at the same time.
Right? And you're
Like,
like, what are we doing, Southwest? But I do appreciate those like salty snacks. Though.
true, true, true.
True, true, true. But yeah, so the as we digress about that, but it was a good time.
Mhm.
But yeah, just be cautious if you're
Yeah.
sexting. Have fun doing it. It
Mhm.
can
Do
take
you, boo? But
yeah.
be careful as usual.
And with that being said, I think that's a wrap for this episode.
Yeah,
Sharp as sweet.
that was a good one.
I like it.
All right, see ya.
Bye. All right.